Today, I am answering your questions from my Instagram story Q&A. Let's get right into it. First question, kind of an interesting one. How was your sleep? I read this straight away and I feel like you have been watching me sleeping, which is kind of fucking weird. But my sleep last night was actually dog shit. My sleep is normally really good. I'm quite protective of my sleep and I encourage you to be as well. The percentage of humans that can function 100% capacity on less than 8 hours sleep, when you round to the nearest whole number, is 0, right? So be protective of your sleep, make sure you get good sleep. But I was up a little bit later last night, up super early for the gym today. So yeah, not very good. Please don't watch me sleep through my window tomorrow, thank you. This one is from Will Henderson. In the beginning, what was the come up stage like? You must have a few leveling up stories. I'll tell you a funny one here just now, nice and quick. I was looking at a new car a few years ago. I had my A45 AMG, amazing car by the way, so good. I was in the market for something else. The local Arnold Clark to me on Shields Road had an RS4 Avant and an Audi S8, quite rare. I thought I would go along, I really want to have a look at the RS4. Long story short, I went in and the salesman treated me like shit. Treated me like someone that didn't have £2 coins to rub together, was telling me that any car I wanted to go look at, oh that one sold, that one sold. The guy's name was Paul and he was a specky bastard. Go forward 7 or 8 months, I buy my i8. In my opinion, a much nicer car than the RS4 Avant and also the S8. And the first thing I done when driving it back home, I bought it at Harrogate from GC Motors. I parked it outside of the Arnold Clark garage. I put the doors up. The guy who had treated me like shit was in the window and I gave him the middle finger and took a photo of my car like this. So yeah, there's many great stories, a lot of mental situations I've ended up in with super successful people and just mad stuff, some that will never be told, but that's one of my personal favourites. Stephen Crane CVP has asked me, have you ever been given a real standout piece of advice that you live by or has made a difference? I've been given so many pieces of advice like that it's unbelievable, like so much, it's crazy. But I've got 2 right here on my wrist that form a sentence that's always stuck with me. And that is, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. It's a very simple principle. It is not something that's going to blow your mind, but when it clicks, it really fucking clicks. I would rather be disciplined now in my early years to make sure that I have the life that I want than wait until it's too late and be disappointed with the life that I lived. And I greatly encourage you to do the exact same. I've got one here from Fraser MCD_29. Do you offer investment? Now, I'm not quite sure which way you mean that question. Do I offer investment opportunities? Yes. There are closed door opportunities for specific people that I work with inside of my circle. They're not open to the public. But if you're asking if I offer investment, as in will I invest into things, of course, absolutely. I love working with people to grow their businesses. I love seeing people achieve amazing goals. I love working especially with people inside of the Yes Academy and all the other different mentorship programs that we run. So yeah, for sure, if you are looking for investment for something, you can reach out to me. Make sure that you actually know what you're talking about though. Business plan, cash flow, forecasting, all that kind of stuff. Don't just mess with me saying, I've got a good idea, do you want to give me 10 grand? Because then you look like a spanner. Dylan Troy Joinery has asked me, what is my dream car? Well, to be honest, I don't know if I have just one dream car. I've got so many different dream cars. If I had to pick one for everyday use for the rest of my life, it would probably be the Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge. Just because it's big, it's fast as well, it can sound quite nice if you have a couple of supporting mods. It's probably a pretty good all-rounder. But my immediate dream car right now, I really want to get myself into a 765 LT or into an 812 Superfast. To be totally honest, I'm probably going to go 720S next, which is neither of those 2 cars, and then potentially an 812 and a 765 LT afterwards. Warren Anthony Moran has asked me, does the UK have mortgage bonds, and if so, are they good to invest in? I don't have a fucking clue. I invest in the properties, not the mortgages. And I'm not too bad at that, so I'm probably not going to go down the bond route anytime soon. I would encourage you, and you probably have already, do your research and make sure it's a good idea for you. I am going to fuck up your name for sure. It's either Adrian Adinovac or it's Adriana Dinovac. I don't have a clue. But you have asked me how long did it take for me to source my first property deal. When I started my first ever business, it was a property business. I've got a whole bunch of different businesses now. This was the first business that I ever started. So back when I just finished my first little bit of like properly education. It took me 12 weeks after that to get my first deal, but I made sure that I got educated first. FN_BCK has asked me, how are you doing, mate? I always appreciate when people ask me this. It's not something I get asked often, not that I would give a fuck. Like, I don't need people to ask me if I'm okay, and like, I don't like cry in the house at night, like, why does nobody ask me? Like, it doesn't bother me, but I do think it's quite nice when people that don't actually know me ask this. I am doing absolutely amazing, mate. I'm working on great things with great people, achieving great results, so it's very hard to be unhappy about that. Col Cambro has asked me thoughts on no fat. For those of you wondering, that is not masturbating by choice. I have seen online there are some scientific benefits to it. It can increase testosterone and stuff like that. I just think it's quite odd, to be totally honest. Out of the very few people in my life that I have bumped into that have talked about being advocates for this, like the monk mode thing, every single one of them has been a fucking weirdo. That's evidence enough for me that it's definitely not my thing. From Col Campbell here, as your profile grows, how do you manage the media/press you accept or decline? I get asked for comment on a lot of things. I get asked to promote a lot of things, get asked to collaborate on a lot of things, and you'll be able to see from my social media that I pretty much do none of it. I have just started working a bit more towards, you know, a greater PR plan and how I'm going to reach more people around the world to make sure that people get access to the education that they need, especially young people. But it really has to align with my goals, my vision, and my beliefs and values. There are some things and some publications or some individuals that are non-negotiable no's for me, just out of principle. I will never compromise my values or what I believe in to be in an article or to make a little bit of money. Do you think copywriting is still viable with ChatGPT around? Of course. This is one of the greatest misconceptions of the world because Samuel, I believe you're like 19, 20 years old. You're young anyway, you're under 25. Because we are online and we are the digital era of entrepreneurs, we assume that every single person knows what ChatGPT is. It was one of the fastest, softwares, apps, tools, whatever you want to call it, to reach 100 million users in comparison to the number of people in the world who are A, using that for business/entrepreneurship, and B, in comparison to the population, that is extremely low. If I was you, I would be excited at the prospect of being able to use ChatGPT as something to benefit my endeavours as a copywriter. It's going to make you more efficient, it's going to make you more punctual, it is just going to make you a better copywriter in general. Don't fear AI, work with it, utilise it, and make sure they give you some type of benefit. Because if I can tell you one thing, it is certainly not going away anytime soon. Over 85% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to keep up to date with amazing free business, life advice, vlogs, all that kind of good stuff, make sure you click subscribe down below if you enjoyed this video, like it too, and hit the notification bell to be updated for our future uploads.